Hi everyone. I am sitting in my car in the rain at my office, and I made a video a little earlier, but I didn't care for it. It was so short. Because I was in a hurry that I had to get to the office. So I'm going to head home in a few minutes, but I decided to take you along first and see how you're doing. Comment below how you're feeling today. I'm feeling okay, except for this weather, although I'm still feeling very blessed not to be in the path of Hurricane Helene. And I hope everyone that it has touched, is okay. I mean, I know that some people aren't, but I'm still sending prayers and good mojo to anyone who needs it. I just wanted to touch base with you. I got mail, which I'd already opened in the other video, but I'm going to share it with you here. It's from James in Massachusetts. Thank you so much. I got a book, and it's called Don't Forget to Remember. And it says, do you ever forget to remember what's true? Sometimes remembering is hard to do. But in this lyrical tale, Ellie Holcomb celebrates creation's reminders of God's love, which surrounds us from sunset to sunrise to sunset, even on our most forgetful days. And it's really a nice book. It's let me take this little note out. And I browsed through it really quickly. It's a nice little picture book. And if you saw my last video, you will know that I probably have some bookmarks for this book. Right, Michelle? Thank you, James. According to James's note, he is also facing death and does not fear death, since learning what happens after death. Ecclesiastes 9:10. Your friend James. James, I really appreciate that, and I'm praying for you. I have a little prayer list. I know I don't mention it too often, but if you do need prayers, just put a comment down there in below. I really appreciate other people's prayers as well, from all walks, from all religions. Well, maybe not Satanism. No, I don't want anything lower, no lower energies. But see, whether it's a Christian or whether it's a Hindu, whatever it is, if you're so devoted to your faith, then it's got to be good stuff, right? I am not Christian, just for the new people who don't know yet. I am a spiritualist, and a little peppered in with some Buddhism. I mean, I believe in the same God as everyone else does. Okay, I don't think that there is more than one God. I think there are lower gods and deities, or lesser gods and deities, I should say. And they're also very important. They're kind of like in other religions, I guess, like Christians would see as angels, or other religions would see as angels. They're God's helpers. And like, I have a lot of Buddhist statues, and I have some gods and goddesses, and Chris and I have a Ganesh, which is that elephant, the Hindu elephant that removes obstacles. So we'll give Ganesh an offering. Apparently Ganesh really loves candy. So, and anytime, just to keep obstacles, away whenever possible. Or if I'm having a problem with somebody's bad mojo, I will go to Ganesh and pray. It's my thing, and I respect everybody's religion, but I think we're all going to go to the same place. I do. I got a comment the other day, do you think you're going to meet God when you die? I think we're all going to meet God. And in fact, I think we all know God already. And as a spiritualist, We believe in a lot of the prophecies of the Bible, even though we are not Bible-based. And I think the most important, it's not even a doctrine, just be kind, be charitable, do unto others, just like the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think if we treat each other more of, brothers and sisters, that's everything. One thing that bothers me about a few things going on around the world right now is I don't understand how you can profess to love God but hate his children. How does that work? How does that work? Anyway, those are some of my views, but I didn't want anybody to think that I didn't appreciate other people's viewpoints. I don't let that get to me. My skin's a little thicker than that. I think that everyone has the right to opinions, and everyone has a right to their own belief system, and everyone has the right to adopt the religion that feels right. We all have our own truth, right? Anyway, so yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna head out because I'm just sitting here in a parking lot. You're just easy to talk to. What can I say? Anyway, cheers. That doesn't mean I have to close it, but I do have to start moving the vehicle, or I can't get home this way. It's very hard to get home if the vehicle sits still. Okay. Yeah, that's a really pretty little book. It's not even little. Thanks, James. And I'm sending my prayers to you now and continued. So a little bit more about information about that. My prayer list. I am guilty of not keeping up on it every single day. There are some people that are just so on that, and I really admire it. It's not about discipline. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like, it's not like this, but when Chris and I agree that we're going to brush those cats like several times a week, and sometimes 2 weeks go by and it's like, yeah, no, didn't do it. And when we full well know that they would shed less. And, that would be a good thing, because winter's coming and Gomez has that big undercoat where he just fluffs out like crazy. And then we start finding like little, what do they call those, little hairballs all over the place. Fortunately, all those little hairs on the floor somehow find each other. That's very helpful. Otherwise, I think the floor would just be covered. And Gloria also has little hairballs, but they're minute compared to Gomez's. So we know winter's coming sooner or later. So starting to get into that habit right now is best. So where was that leading? It's the same with my prayer list. I want to say I do it every night, but I do not. But nevertheless, I do have it, and my idea of prayer and somebody else's idea of prayer might be different. I don't put my hands together like this. I do it in the receiving position and on my lap. Sometimes I'm laying down in bed, but I like to have my hands up and receiving God's energy, and it's a communication back and forth. And meditation feels good. There is an app called Insights timer. Somebody actually did ask me about meditation. Insights timer. What I like about that app for your phone, and I always recommend a headset or something, or earbuds, because your quality is going to be better. But what I like about it is that app allows you, if you only have 2 minutes, it actually has a 2-minute meditation available to you. All right, I can look into the camera now. I'm at a light. So I think that whether it's meditation or prayer, it just puts you in a different headspace, you know? So this is not the prettiest day. Probably had rain about 3 or 4 days in a row now. I have not seen the sun at all. I might have saw it for an hour yesterday. And this isn't even the remnants of Hurricane Helene. That'll be coming. I think we're going to have maybe a day of sun coming up, or half a day, and then it's going to rain again. But we are going to Virginia Beach for a few days in about 2 weeks. So I'm hoping this will get all out of our system, where we've had plenty of rain, and then we'll have a nice trip. I'm just so needing to see the ocean. That is just, water is really healing for me. It just puts me in another headspace. So we're going to be, well, we're going to be in the shoulder season, which means it's not the height of summer. And the rates for hotels are very, very reasonable. So we're able to stay in a hotel overlooking the beach. So I'm going to definitely vlog, not a whole lot because we're only there a few days, and I really just want to enjoy it. But yeah, definitely going to show you like the view from our hotel and things like that. I've never been to Virginia Beach. It's kind of a bucket list, but no, not necessarily a bucket list, but it was just some place that I have not been yet that I've wanted to go to. And I am really looking forward to that, because Chris has some time off, and I know Chris is really looking forward to it. Chris really needs it, for sure. Work's been kind of stressful, and, you know, I know that he really worries when I'm not feeling well. I'm sure that a lot of the same thoughts run through his mind when I'm sick. Like, just, you know, how long will I be down for? And do I need to go see the oncologist right away? I guess if I was down a few extra days, I definitely would, but except for that one that really took me for a wallop about a week and a half ago, I'm just trying to get my rest, that's all. But those things do come to mind. When I'm feeling good, it's like we totally forget that I'm sick. And I like forgetting that, you know? For sure. But I usually know when it's the cancer and when it's something else. I don't get sick otherwise very often. Thank goodness. But at the same time, I'm very vulnerable. I mean, if I am out in a crowd, I'm still wearing a mask. Well, I stopped wearing a mask for a while, but ever since the diagnosis, just a little bit more. Plus being a diabetic. Diabetes lowers your immune system by a lot. So I guess I don't get sick that often because I'm careful. I'm as careful as I can be. So even not seeing Neon this weekend, I mean, I'm bummed out, but I did just get over being sick the 2 days ago. The last 2 days, I was a little down, but not so bad. Not like I can function. It's the times when I can't function. But I mean, I appreciate that I'm not going to get sick with Neon, but totally, totally going to miss the weekend with him. You make the ride worthwhile. Thanks for being here. So whether you're in Australia or Canada or UK, I always feel you're right in the car with me. So I want your questions. I want you to go ahead and ask me anything, woo-woo or cancer, or my personal life. It doesn't matter. I try to be an open book. I do get some unusual questions sometimes. So I'm in my driveway now, and I did also want to talk about some comments I got from my video. I think it was called Trying to Live While You're Dying. You got a couple of comments. I mean, you're always very supportive, but a couple of comments that were like, we're all dying and everyone's terminal. And yes, that's definitely true. But once you're diagnosed terminal and time is a lot more limited than you thought, the math changes. It definitely puts things a little bit more in perspective, because let's face it, we feel invincible when we're younger. And until we start having health problems, we tend to waste days. So, for instance, someone else had commented, I'll just comment on all the comments now, that we waste days doing nothing. And then when we're sick, when we realize that we're not going to be here for too long, then we don't want to waste any more days. And we're really trying to hurry up and do things. I guess that's why I always talk about the bucket list. I want to make sure that I get everything done. But even just resting, like I don't want to take any day for granted. That is just so important to me. But we spend so many times, like we work really hard during the week. We're exhausted on the weekend, and then we don't really do much. Sometimes Saturday is just lazy, and not that it wasn't well deserved, but at the end of the day, you go like, I really didn't do anything but rest. Well, rest is also important, but when your days are limited, you kind of wish you could have done a little bit more. So we spend a lot of time spinning our wheels when we're really sick. And I guess that's why we're deeper thinkers. Compared to where we might have been a few years ago, a little bit more philosophical. Every day counts. And that's what you need to do. Make every day count. So yes, we are all dying, but the dynamic is different when you know you're dying sooner than later. Even if you have an illness that isn't terminal but very serious, and it's sort of you're teetering on the edge, maybe you're getting cancer treatments, and even if the prognosis is good, there's always that chance. And you start realizing that life is short. And so, yeah, I just wanted to answer that. And I appreciate all your comments. Keep doing that. I like interacting with you. And I like, driving in the rain with you. So, okay, I'm going to close now. So you need to make every day count and feel blessed because you are. Send your prayers to the victims of the hurricane. And I will talk to you in a couple of days. Okay. Bye.